Well, it's Friday. It's finally here, the best day of the week, because it means the week is ending. Right? Not to mention, it's the only day of the week that Friday Night Tights takes place. That's over on Nerdrotics channel. Gary's great guy with the whole gang. It's what I watch every Friday night. Cheers to the fellowship. Invader coffee. Today it is Invader. Some days it's Geek Grind. If you like coffee, please check them out. Link in the description. If you're looking to get healthy, like I am on some days, check out Eric Roberts Fitness. Link also down in the description. First things first, I want to thank Vader from Salty Nerd Podcast. He sent me a bag of swag, and I got it today. So exciting. If you haven't checked out the Salty Nerd Podcast, make sure you do. Link in that picture right there if I can get it to focus. There you go. SaltyNerd.com. Go check them out. Great group of nerds there. Always salty and always delicious. Content, that is. As you notice, I'm sure, I'm wearing a sports jersey. What? That fat dude don't know sports? This is true. I do not. I do, however, know that this jersey is a replica of one of the Hanson brothers jerseys from the movie Slapshot. I've got it on the shelf here somewhere. I really should have had that out so I could show it to you. Oh well. Sorry. Got Paul Newman. Old movie. Paul Newman is not the best thing in those movies. In that movie, it's the Hanson brothers. They're hilarious. And although I'm not a hockey fan per se, love this jersey. I've had it for years. If you haven't seen that movie, you should give it a watch. Be forewarned. It's got quite a bit of language in it. And it's from a long time ago. Right around the time period where nudity became acceptable. So I'm pretty certain there's a few brief flashes of that in there as well. Excuse me. So as promised, last night I watched the last 2 episodes of Peacemaker. And I gotta say, I wasn't that impressed. It went exactly like I thought it would. The dialogue was still bad. Look, good grief. There were some funny parts in it, yes. James Gunn writes some amusing stuff. But there was also a bunch of unnecessary garbage in it. And the story was not that great. It had potential. And if you cut the first 2 episodes out of it, which I thought were the worst, I guess the last 6 episodes were alright. Would I watch it again? Nope. Sorry. Rumor has it, James Gunn told John Cena not to read any of the comic books about his character, Peacemaker, because James Gunn doesn't care about the origin of characters. He just cares about what he can do with them, how he can use them the way he wants to. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. In the case of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, it was wonderful. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it was alright. Obviously, we're waiting to see about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm excited about that movie. I like those characters. But for all intents and purposes, I'm not sure it'll touch the first one as far as how good it is. Not much of a fan of John Cena. Even when I used to watch wrestling, I wasn't a huge John Cena fan. And this was years ago when in fairness, it was back when Stone Cold and The Rock, back in the good days of wrestling. Now The Rock's a moron, and John Cena's following right along behind him. As far as I know, Stone Cold's still cool. But hey, it is what it is. Peacemaker, they try so hard to be edgy with all the language. It loses something. Now look, I do not have a problem with foul language. Unless it's in front of my mom. I try not to do that. And my dad. But I don't necessarily have a problem with foul language. It's just words. But when every other word is an F-bomb, it loses any meaning. It's just for shock value. It's to show how grown up James Gunn is in his writing. How edgy. Perfect example, Quentin Tarantino. I like Tarantino's work for the most part. There's a couple of his movies I didn't care for. And they have foul language in them. But it's not every word. It's sparsely used. Well, in most cases, sparsely used. Not to say he can't overdo it, but it's not every other word. James Gunn, if you want to show your talent, try writing something that's not identity politics and not foul language every other word. Because you had some great little moments in Peacemaker. There were some great moments. But just like Marvel, DC has gone to the same well of we're only about the moments. It's about the little moments that we can get you excited about next thing. So you continue to buy and buy and buy. I saw one YouTube channel say that Peacemaker was the greatest thing DC's ever done. No, it wasn't. That's a stupid statement. Now, as far as the fact that it was full of violence and blood and gore, something like when Marvel did the original Punisher with Thomas Jane in it and Travolta. I hated Travolta in that. But you have a movie where there's a bunch of killing in it and little to no blood. It came across silly. The movie would have been better served to at least show the results of your violence. And as far as Peacemaker goes, there's plenty of blood and guts. Just like there were in The Suicide Squad. But the story wasn't there. Nothing happened in the story, in this season, that I did not expect and did not see coming. Absolutely nothing. So, should you give it a watch? My mom shouldn't. My dad shouldn't. Lots of people where the language is not agreeable to them will never be able to get past it because it's every other word. And that shows an untalented writer. You don't have to put every other word as foul language to show how edgy and creative you are. So, I'll give it a 5. 5 out of 10. That's what you got, James Gunn. That's Peacemaker. I'll never watch it again. I do not care if there's a second season. I won't watch it. These characters just were not interesting enough to keep me coming back for more. Spoiler alert. You got 3 seconds. Spoiler alert. I'm saying it again. This is a spoiler. So if you don't want it to be spoiled, if you haven't watched it yet, put your fingers in your ears and go la 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 la. Having the Justice League show up at the end was pandering and stupid. And you only did it, DC and James Gunn, in this series. You never showed Superman, you never showed Wonder Woman other than in shadow, but you showed that stupid moron who plays the Flash in the movies that likes to beat up on women, allegedly, and Momoa as Aquaman. Why'd you do that? Because you got an Aquaman movie coming out and a Flash movie coming out. As I said, it's all about showing a moment to get people excited about your next piece of garbage. It was not pertinent to the story. That was straight out of Marvel's playbook. And it's part of what makes Marvel so ignorant. So there you have it. That's today's irritation. Peacemaker is not the end-all, be-all. It's just not great. It's not awful. But it's definitely not great. 5 out of 10. There you have it. From Michael the Microphone, Squeaky Chair, and this fat, not sporty nerd, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.